Okay, we are here for the Q&A panel for the Phantom Pain. I will have these two introduce themselves, please, if you would, starting with Norman.
Hi, I'm Norman Luce. I'm the writer, cinematographer, editor for Phantom Pain.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maria Picar. I am the director, producer of Phantom Pain.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to go back and forth with questions before we actually talk about the film. So, Norman, one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that you're a self-trained cinematographer. So that's a little bit different than those of us that go to school or spend a ton of time on set, etc. So tell me a bit about how you navigate that because of all the things you can do on a set. It sounds like cinematography is super important and very technical.
Yeah, yeah, it sort of like became the thing I felt most into doing because I'm actually a fully trained theater actor, so I had a lot of training for that, and I have taken some film classes at like my local community college here and there, but yeah, the majority of it is, as you said, self-taught. And it was mostly because when I started making movies with my friends, um. not everyone was really interested in trying to better understand the technical aspects of it. Like they
Okay.
just wanted to point the camera and go, which, is very tempting and very understandable. But I wanted to make sure that we were doing the best version of it we could. So I was the one who spent most of the time learning the cameras, understanding the lighting, watching a lot of tutorial videos. I watched so many YouTube tutorial videos, it's crazy. But you learn a lot that way, yeah.
Sure.
Um, so it sort of started as me just sort of opting to be the one to learn stuff no one else was interested in doing. And then it became more interesting as it went along and learning about the techniques and the styles and the do's and don'ts. And then it just sort of like, yeah, it became the main thing for me as a filmmaker.
Thank you very much for that. Maria, I have a question for you. I know that you recently had the film festival with Foxwater Media. So please tell me the end result. How did everything go?
Everything went really well. We had a great group of people that came to watch our films. We had a couple of new filmmakers with us, Norman Melton Gallegos Garcia and Gio Rojo. They're actually on our crew. They were on our crew for Phantom Pain, but
Oh,
they're also student filmmakers that just graduated from film school, and they're very interested in making their own projects. And we're giving them that opportunity. But they're also great to work with
sure.
as assistant directors, as PAs, and they just love the process. So we actually showed their films as well. So we showed Phantom Pain, and we showed, some of our other films and their
Okay.
films.
Very nice. And what's the name of it so people know?
It was the films that we showed.
No, the festival.
The
So,
festival was called Creative
yes,
Collaborations.
thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Now, I have a piggyback question for you. So, as Asian mainstream productions, you're the co-founder. One of the things that I want to talk about is production companies as a whole, from all the people that I've been speaking to, have legitimate concerns about 2026 coming up and distribution being more complicated, funds being tighter, and access to things for us as independents are slowly going away, including theaters. So, as a production house, where do you stand on all of that?
Well, I have always done my own projects with my own finances. So that's where I stand because, yeah, the industry is changing all the time.
Yeah.
And you've got to collaborate with people and network with people. And the best thing to do is like we had our film festival creative collaborations with a restaurant called Fork and Spoon, for instance.
Hmm.
And they're sort of friends of mine. And we actually shot one of our films there, some of our scenes. So we partnered together and said, okay, let's do this together. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of film and a lot of distribution and a lot of, being able to watch other people's films. You're going to have to make your own paths. This is what I'm saying.
Sure. Understood.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree with you 100% there. Norman, I see that part of your repertoire includes a background in theater. Could you please elaborate further on your time doing theater? And some people love it, and some people are like, yeah, I had my time kind of over it. So would you ever return back there?
Well, actually, yeah, because yeah, theater was a big part of me for the longest time. I did a lot of plays when I was in high school. I actually attended my the Foothill College Theater Conservatory program, which was a 2-year intense training program for serious theater actors. I don't think it's around anymore. They're trying to bring it back. I hope they do.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I do miss the rehearsals process and the magic that happens when you get on stage. So I wouldn't mind getting back to it at some point. But to bring that back into the cinema, I will say that one of the things that I definitely appreciate with my theater training is how it's actually also leaned into my preferences as a cinematographer, because that is how I have adopted the philosophy of treating the camera as if it's a character rather
Mm,
than just the thing that's seeing what's going on.
sure. Makes sense. Thank you very much for that. Um, Maria, I have a question. You used to run a nonprofit organization, to those that do not know this. So, are there particular things that you can take away from the charitable side that actually spill over that help you when you're doing filmmaking? Might sound odd, but maybe there is.
There is actually a lot of my experience in nonprofit has helped me tremendously with filmmaking because for one thing, it's helping me to fundraise for instance, I have some
Sure.
staunch supporters that'll always like support what I do. Um, I also know how to gather volunteers from that process, and a lot of them come from, universities, colleges, high schools,
Sure.
and they're just happy to be on set and learn from people that have made films like us. And then also grant writing.
Mm,
I've
that's
learned to
right.
write grants, and I've learned to connect with people that are in positions that can give money to you. So, well, my nonprofit was in San Francisco, for instance. It was a small nonprofit, and I was able to gather funds from the mayor's office. Actually worked with the mayor, the previous mayors, and then I also got a chance to build my own community of board of directors, and I know
Okay.
how to do project management, and also I did a lot of event planning.
Oh, nice. Very,
Yeah.
very nice. Thank you for that. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Mhm.
Now, Norman, I know that you're a self-published author, so I have a twofold question. For one, some people are always on the fence about, oh, you're not really an author or writer because you're self-published, and that's the harder way to go, meaning they all look to you to be at Barnes and Noble and other places. So talk to me a bit about, do you feel that self-publishing is not respected enough? And on the flip side, please tell me a bit about what you have published.
Well, not having had the experience of trying to go to an actual publisher yet, I couldn't
Okay.
say definitely, but I will say that, yeah, I mean, at presently, I do think that it is not appreciated or examined as much as it probably should be because,
Yeah.
and I've also been fortunate enough to at least choose a decent self-publishing route. I currently self-publish through Ingram Spark, which has so far proven to be a pretty good group. They don't, I mean, like any other self-publishing group, they don't guarantee you'll get your stuff on bookshelves, but
Sure.
you at least have that opportunity. And at the very least, you can always see your work out on their online stores. So
Sure.
there's at least that much. And the main reason I currently hesitate to try and go to a traditional publisher, at least presently, is I don't trust many of them to look at what I have and take a risk with it. I have this concern that they're going to look at it and say, yeah, could you actually make this character a guy? Because I'll sell more books that way. And I'm like, no,
Mm,
no.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, what was the second part of the question?
So the second part being, please tell us a bit about what you have published so far, because maybe people watching this have no idea what you've written.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have written and self-published a book actually inspired by a 48 Hour film I did years ago
Okay.
called Come See the Light, a future history novel.
Okay.
It's a post-apocalyptic story about a future in which all non-biological electricity, lights, computers, all goes away.
Hmm.
And it's been that way for about 50 years. And this young woman named Maya discovers the location of the machine that made it happen. And she
Okay.
decides to go on a journey to find it. And on the way there, she meets all these new cultures and people who have adapted to the new way of the world is, and starts wondering, okay, do we really need to bring the electricity back or not?
Nice.
And she also makes a fox friend named Anari, who is
Nari.
a badass and super smart. Basically, it's the animal friend I never had but always wanted.
Oh, very, very nice. That sounds very cool. I like
Thank you.
that. I do.
And I thank you. And I wrote and published the first sequel for it earlier this year.
Okay.
It's intended to be a trilogy. I am still brainstorming the third story. Haven't cracked it yet, but it's getting there. So yeah.
Nice. Very, very good. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for that. Now, Maria, I know that in the past you and continue to, I know at times, teach dance and yoga. Has it ever been a consideration because you've now done so much in film that you start teaching younger people about film?
Oh, yes, I've been actually asked to do that at one of my local rec centers because
Ooh,
actually a lot of the people that attended our recently Creative Collaborations Festival, a lot of
okay.
them were my yoga students. So now that they know that I do film too, they were saying, "Why don't you teach film at one of the, centers here and,
Sure.
hang out and let the kids know that, that they can do stuff like that." And I said, "Well,
That's cool.
maybe." But yeah, they have to approve it. The rec centers have to approve it.
Oh, right, right. I get
Right.
you. I think that would
Yeah.
be awesome, though. I mean, I think with having a teaching background and seeing all the various things you've done, I think it couldn't possibly hurt at all. In fact, I think kids are probably the best people that we can pass our knowledge on to because they're so eager to learn and they're so willing and they're so open. So I think that'd be terrific.
Yeah.
So, Norman, I have one more question and then I'll go back to her and then we'll get to the Phantom Pain. So, obviously, you are the writer and the DP of this project, the Phantom Pain. So, I want to know, did this story come organically? Was this based on a true story? And second of all, what made you want to do a film about addiction?
Well, like many other things that fall in my artistic endeavors, it sort of came from partially from experience of mostly from me wanting to do something specific, but
Sure.
not being able to do so. You'll notice that in the end credits, it mentions that it was inspired by a short story by Ray Bradbury.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite science fiction authors. I've read a lot of his short stories. Yeah, the short story in question is one about a guy living on Mars by himself for 30 years, and he starts getting phone calls from his younger self. And it's not certain if it's him going insane or if it's something he did to sort of
Okay.
it suggested that he left recordings around to call him certain times,
Hmm.
and that's helps in keeping him sane. But yeah, so I had originally wanted to really make an adaptation of that,
Okay.
but I wasn't sure what the license issues were. I wasn't sure if it was public domain yet, or if I had to get approval or pay for whatever.
Sure.
So after struggling with that, I decided to start writing something that was at least inspired by it.
Okay.
And and the main thing that made me go with the concept of addiction, well, two main things. One was when I was brainstorming the original film adaptation of the Ray Bradbury story, I had this desire to always keep the camera going and never cut when he's on the phone,
Hmm.
which happens to happen for the most part in this version of the story, because I wanted to emphasize that it's likely all in his head. Yeah,
Mm.
and I had finally sort of realized and accepted kind of addiction that I'm dealing with right now. Nothing serious or dire, but addiction that has made things a little harder for me lately, and I'm working very hard to sort of kick that and get better at it.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, partially personal stuff, mostly um taking inspiration from something that I admire and wanted to do something with, but couldn't do exactly.
Okay. That makes
Mhm.
sense. Thank
Mhm.
you. And as to you, Maria, I know that oftentimes you have themes in films. Obviously, of course, you've done the family thing, you've done the comedy thing, you've done all sorts of, I mean, almost every genre I can think of. So, for you personally, when doing this particular film, was there any thought in your mind that maybe after this drama were done? Meaning, like, I feel like a lot of the subjects have become heavier, if that makes sense. Like a lot of what you touch on is very real life, very heavy, very true to life sort of thing. Do you think you might need a break from some of that?
Yeah, well, yes and no. Because um I like the story of Phantom Pain when Norman presented it to me because
Sure.
for one, I think addiction is a heavy duty subject that a lot of people don't realize is that heavy. They think
Hmm.
some, and some people that are in addiction, they're addicted to stuff. It could be anything. It could be
Sure.
cigarettes, it could be alcohol, it could be, they don't realize they're addicted to it until, maybe somebody points it out, or they self-realization, oh
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I should kick this habit. But yeah, on the other side of that question, I'm ready to do something a little lighter again,
Ah,
you know.
yay.
Actually, Norman and I are collaborating on a web series pilot
Oh,
based
can,
on a cook,
hmm,
based on a Filipino cook.
nice. I like this idea.
Yeah.
This just navigating to something a little different. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, The Phantom Pain, completed in April of 2025. No surprise that you once again utilize black and white. So for this particular project, the including of black and white, was that to make a point, meaning to distinguish between the addicted life and regular life? Or do you just like the look of the black and white? What was the purpose of using that this time?
Norman.
Well, I took that as, yeah, mostly separating the addicted life to the regular life, hence why it
Okay.
goes into color when he finally walks out the door, having mostly recovered from it.
Right.
But also, to my recollection, it Maria and I had discussed how it was also reminiscent of the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because this story that I came up with is very much Twilight Zone inspired as well. Because
Yeah.
again, Ray Bradbury. um,
Yeah.
and it became more so when the phone became an important part of it. Because in the early drafts of the script, I had written it that it was just an old-timey style ringtone on his cell phone.
Sure.
But then there happened to be an email when Maria was telling everyone about the props we needed, and she put the old time phone in there. And I initially said, no, no, it's not a thing. It's just a ringtone. But then I started going, wait a minute. And it turned into what it is actually is in the film. And I actually thought that that was a much better idea.
Yes. And the phone, we have to talk about that because, of course, I believe the phone is a character in and of itself. Clearly, to me, it represents the inner voice inside of his head, clearly. Tell me a bit about who did the narration because that's like the oddest voice I have ever heard.
Oh my God, Ian. I mean, when Norman told me, I think Ian's interested in doing the voice, and I
Mhm.
went, oh my God, when I heard his voice, I said, that is classic because
Yeah.
he's got this kind of quirky tone to his voice that would just make it even creepier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Is he a regular narrator or is he just a regular actor? Who is he? The voice.
Oh, he's a regular actor. He's done pretty much all my 48-hour films. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's always happy to do to participate in any kind of creative project I got going on. The dude is a probably a bigger theater nerd than I am. Yeah, yeah, and no, he's just been a super talented, super nice guy, very smart. Um, can get a little talkative over time on set, but he never gets to the point where it's distracting. Yeah, he
Gotcha.
he knows he knows when to focus it in. Yeah.
Okay. And
Um.
go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
As far as the dialogue of the inner voice, are all of those things that have been repeated by someone who's in addiction? Did you create those from scratch?
I'd say that's mostly from scratch.
Hmm.
Okay.
Because one of the rules in screenwriting is everything has to have conflict of some kind.
Right.
And
Mm,
it seemed fairly obvious just writing based on needing conflict of some kind. And I
yes.
figured that, since we already made it clear that it was about a guy, or at least I hope it was made clear that it's about addiction, that the simple nature of the conflicting nature of the dialogue would already just enhance that.
Okay. And I think it would be fair to say that the music within the course of the film is a strong scene setter. It literally sets things up, sets the tone. I won't lie. If I can hear the telephone in my head, which is, I don't know if that was on purpose, but I'm kind of overhearing the telephone now because it's never ending. So I guess I should ask you about composition as far as how did you come up with the backdrop of that type of music? Because it fits perfectly.
Well,
That was
that
yeah,
was all
your
my
friend
friend
Devin.
Devin.
His friend Devin.
Really?
Hmm. And we were
Yeah.
saying, we
Yeah.
were talking on, I was talking to him on via email, and I said, Well, yeah, the phone is like a character, so it should have its own kind of like ringtone and then
Okay.
just the music in the background, Abel's his little thing has a little theme to it and everything. So
Okay, I get you. Yeah, because I mean, the music was superb. I loved the black and white. I love the line of "She needs me, and I don't need you." I mean, if
mhm.
that right there is the definitive moment, I think right there. Not only the
Yes.
realization, but it puts it into context so nicely and wraps it up so very well. Um, when you were looking at actors for this, what was it about Abel that you feel fit this particular character?
Well, to tell you the truth,
Well,
Abel was in a film with us previously called The Sweet
Ah,
Spot. It was in a 48-hour film, and
okay.
we found that he worked really well with us, and we liked his style and everything, and was like, let's, get him in here, and have him do this film. And he was very emotional in The Sweet Spot, so we figured he could do this again and do it
Okay.
even. But the big joke was that he was wearing a bathrobe in that film, and he's wearing a bathrobe in this film.
Look at that. Well, and the thing is too, every actor's a little bit different. And because he's not here, I guess I'll ask you the question. Some of these moments require that you show withdrawal symptoms and things like that. And so how acquainted was he with what withdrawal looks like?
Go ahead, Norman.
I couldn't say. I think he mentioned that he knew someone who was going through the same process. So
Okay,
Yeah.
I think he had seen it firsthand. I can't say for him, but according to my recollection, yeah, he
I
had seen
getcha.
people, knew people who had gone through addictive situations. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And with the $300 budget, I assume, well, it was mainly taking place in what, two settings from what I could tell, maybe three as far as locations. So I imagine, to your fellow filmmakers, I would ask this question. Keeping it to a $300 budget, besides keeping the locations down, any other recommendations for them on how to keep the budget so tight? Because we're always looking for that.
Uh, well, my thing is don't be afraid. Well, one on a technical aspect for me, I would say don't be afraid to do something unconventional with your camera setups.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Meaning,
because well, for me, the biggest thing for me is one of the things that I have grown out of and refuse to do anymore is film everything with a camera setting that gets the maximum amount of dynamic range. Because
okay,
everyone is going about high dynamic range, getting the most of the highlights and most of the shadows, seeing every little detail in every single bright and dark part of the image.
yeah,
And it's creating this effect where everything looks like gray sludge because they're not grading it to the point where it looks pretty, but it has all the information in all the different areas. And B, they're filming things with such ridiculous low light that you can't
mm,
see crap.
yeah.
I mean, prime example, the season the show finale for Game of Thrones where you can't see a goddamn thing. Pardon me. So, well, yeah, like everybody is filming in the dark with no sense of contrast now because they think they can bring it up in post. Like, guys, you don't
Yeah,
have that high dynamic range power to do that.
sure. No, I
Yeah.
get you.
So what I've been doing because I'm trying to get away from that, and I'm hopefully trying to encourage other folks to do it, is I started using a system that allows me to create the color style that I want in camera and bake it into the image rather than add it later on in post.
Got
hmm
it. Okay. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. I could see where that would definitely be a good thing. Well, and the other obvious thing is too, you have to pay actors and you have to feed them. I saw Alex's catering, wonderful choice there as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
He caters for
that's big.
everything.
If you can't pay your actors, feed them.
Feed them.
that's exactly right.
That's what
Can't
we
pay them,
say.
feed them. That's exactly it. And
But
you
I
manage,
also, in answer to your question too,
yeah,
like we try to keep the locations at a minimum and people that we know that'll let us film there and give them credit
got
for
it.
filming there. So that keeps the cost down as
Yeah,
well.
and I have to give so many props to the lady who because that we actually filmed that at an Airbnb that I had rented in Portland. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and she
Huh.
was very nice to let us use that as a filming location. She signed a contract about it. Um,
Oh.
very nice with letting us be there, having everyone there. Yeah, it was super helpful. Yeah.
That's awesome. Look at that. So if somebody were to ask me what Phantom Pain is about, in my personal opinion, what I would say is it's one man's struggle to accept himself where he is, to accept and literally just succumb to that which he cannot control and find things in his life to appreciate. But I'm not the creator. So give me 2 sentences of what the Phantom Pain is to you.
Overcoming struggle to become a better person.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Specifically a better uncle.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because another thing that I guess I didn't think I mentioned this before, but another thing that inspired me to write this particular story is, can we stop the stereotype of uncles being sick perverts?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I
Because
guess.
yes, it's an unfortunate thing that happens, and all uncles who do it deserve to burn in hell, if there is
Mhm.
such a place. But can we
Well,
stop assuming that's the only thing they can be in media?
yeah, exactly. Well, there was one scene that we were that I was directing with Norman, and it was
Mhm.
the scene where he's arguing with his niece, and she's telling him that you need help.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the one of the PAs suggested, can she put her hand on his shoulder like I said, no, no, that just makes it look,
Yeah. I get it. I
yeah.
do.
So
I get it.
yeah,
Yeah, and I hate that's the first thing people assume when they see uncle and niece on screen. Oh, he's
Uh-huh.
molesting her. Oh,
I
right,
get you. Sure.
exactly.
I like
So
your
that's
description though. 2 good sentences. That was good.
yeah.
I
thank
like
you.
that. What about you, young lady? What do you got for the 2 sentences?
It's about overcoming something that can be addictive, but at the same time trying to find yourself.
I can live with that. Now, if I were to ask you, where's Phantom Pain going from after Art is Alive? Where's it headed?
Actually, I'm looking into having a screening at my local library for
Ooh,
another
okay.
film festival. I didn't tell Norman this yet, but yeah, so we're going to have another screening probably here in where I live in Happy Valley,
Okay.
and we're going to open it up to other filmmakers, and I'm doing the event planning for it, and it's going to be maybe a 2 or 4 day festival
Ooh,
where
I
people
like
can come and
this.
see different films
Okay.
besides Phantom Pain. Phantom Pain will be in it, of course, and some maybe Canon Kitchen or something else that we've done, maybe Sweet Spot, and some of the local filmmakers will probably give me their films so we can screen them.
That's awesome. I like that. So, as to both of you, first you, Norman, what do you have upcoming besides the Phantom Pain? What else is in the wheelhouse?
Well, there is the one that Maria mentioned earlier, where the pilot of a web series based on our friend's restaurant we're gonna work on. I actually just recently finished the first draft for that, so I'm gonna try and show it to some friends, polish that up. Um, and I'm still planning on doing 48-hour films again. I've been doing it for both Portland and the Bay Area. I'm in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing it for both Portland and Bay Area for the past couple of years. I'm going to be in Portland physically for that one this time. I did it remotely this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And
Yeah,
as
so
for,
those are the big ones coming up right now.
thank you. And as for you, young lady?
Well, I'm doing the web series with Norman that I
Right.
mentioned. I'm also going to be curating the film festival here in Portland in Happy
Okay.
Valley in April. And then I'm actually starting to work on a feature film comedy that's martial arts based called Bushido Boy.
Very, very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up nicely in a bow, once again, I am not disappointed, nor were my judges by the Phantom Pain. There is 3 main things that stood out to all of us, which is the relatability. Sadly, we live in a universe right now where addiction runs so rampant that a lot of us can relate to that, which is very sad. Number 2, it gives hope and joy to the fact that yes, it is able to be overcome. And third of all, most of us need to remember that the demons in our head can be shut off, can be turned off and silenced if we really want that. So thank you for bringing such a powerful film to my door, especially with the black and white. I absolutely love it. I wish I
Oh,
could tell you if you're nominated, because again, you'll be finding out tomorrow. We just don't quite know yet, but I'll keep you in the loop. I'm just god awful grateful that you came to me with this project. Thank you so much.
you're
Well, thank
welcome.
you for
Once
having us.
again. Yes, thank you for having
Absolutely.
us.
Oh,